Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Monday, the 17th of June, and a beautiful weekend we had. My name's Patricia, for those who don't know, and I live in New Brunswick, Canada, and I'm just taking a few moments to have a little chat and hope that you had a great Father's Day with your loved one, your father, your grandfather, your husband, your son, your sons-in-law, and for those of you that don't have that, well, my dad is gone, and my grandparents are gone, and my husband I have sons and grandsons, or a son and two daughters, and I sent them messages and posted something on Facebook for all of them to let them know that we are thankful for them and for the children that they have brought into our lives. So I did hear, or my husband heard from our youngest daughter and from the oldest daughter. And anyway, and I heard from a grandson, which was for their grandfather and their father. But anyway, today is a new day, and I know that for some people, all these things can become, if you don't have people in your life, it can be, when it even comes any other holiday, and I'm not just talking about Father's Day or Mother's Day. I'm talking about having Christmas and Thanksgiving and all these special days, and you have nobody. It is very lonely. It's a very lonely time even for myself. It was different when I had the children, and they have their own lives. And so we still visit our daughter on Christmas, and some of the family get together, and that's what we do. But I just find a lot of these traditions are depressing, to tell you the truth. And people are not into those days. They want to do it with their children and their husband and or wife, and just do things their way. It's not about the old way anymore, like we used to have with our parents and grandparents and things like that. And that's okay. Well, but I'm always one for thinking as well, trying to be kind to one another. Anyway, this morning I got up and did my dishes, and the lady next door contacted me and said she might have some eggs for me, a couple of dozen, and so I had to scramble and get a few dollars together to pay for that. And I got my floors vacuumed, and my bedroom floors need to be done. I need to take it in my bedroom sometime this week, or if it's not too hot. We're going to have a hot week this week, so we'll see what I get accomplished. It might be when it becomes a few cooler days, but yeah, my bedroom needs to be cleaned, and the bathroom and the things like that. So it really needs to be touched up and changed around, and make sure that everything is clean under and over and in. And anyway, I used to be very on task pretty well when the kids were younger. but now as I get older, it's not as important anymore. I will keep my house clean for when others come, that I don't have a lot to do to touch it up. But that's not what life is about. Yes, we need to be keeping ourselves busy with our homes and our family and tasks that we have to get done. Anyway, I went through my verses because I go to my ladies' meeting of us four ladies, and let me look at them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verses that I have memorized, and I hope I can say them when I get there. And let me just go over them quickly with you. Luke 9:23. If any man come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Luke 9:23. And then it's John 15:5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If any man remain in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And then it is John 8:31, 32. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, you are really my disciples. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. There. I had to take a peek at the last line. The next one is, let me think. Come on here. The next one is about prayer. So that is John, let me look. John 15:7. Nope. John 13:34, 35. Okay, and I got to look at this. No, I think I did something. Sorry, wrong. No, I did it. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you will, and it will be given unto you. Now this one is a little, it's about if the word remains in me. So if I remain in God, in Jesus, and his words remain in me and live in me, then I'm going to know what the will of the Lord is. Like I can ask for the salvation of my family, because he's not willing that any should perish. I can ask for food when we have less, a roof over my head. I can ask for clothes to wear, because he will provide those things. But if I wanted a fancy whatever you call them, cars, I have a car. It runs. It's a 2014 Cruise, and it runs. He's not going to get me a great big $100,000 car. My husband would wish he could have back some of the cars that he drove years ago. Now, when I first dated him, he had a 1968 Mercury Montego convertible, red in color, black convertible roof. And that's what I dated when he was driving that. And then he's had so many others before that. The Chevys way back in the 50s, 55, 57. If he was here, he could ring them off to me. He had so many, and he always talks about having one. But I don't think God's going to give him one of those either. Not that he couldn't, but I don't believe he will. And that's what I mean about this verse. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, you can ask whatever you will, and it will be given you. So it's not like a wish list. That's all I have to say on that. and that is found in John 15:7. Now, John 13:34 and 35 is talking about fellowship. And so, let me think. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so must you love one another. By this all men will know you are my disciples if you love one another. So that's where I'm at right now for my memory verses. Luke, if you want to write them down, Luke 9:23, John 15:5, John 8:31-32, John 15:7, John 13:34-35. Now, how I remember them is first you have to come. If any man come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So I remember that because that's our starting position. We have to not think about ourselves anymore, right? We have to not put ourselves first. We have to deny ourselves. And it's not all about us, not everything that we want. Poor me kind of thing. We have to put Christ first. So let me deny myself, my wants sometimes, and deny myself and take up the cross. And that means just to follow him and follow him, he says. So that's how I remember that one. It's the first one. And so the next one I know is all about Christ, because he says, I'm the vine. And that's where I know that one is. The next one is the Word. We have to be into the Word. And that's John 8:31-32. And the next one is if we're in Christ and we're into the Word, we're going to pray, right? Because he is the one we pray to, God the Father, God the Son. And Jesus is there making intercession for us. So that's where week 3 comes into with prayer. And then the last one, John 13:34-35, is how we have fellowship with other people. We love one another. We're kind to one another. Like I mentioned, be kind one to another, tender-hearted and forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. He tells us to have a fellowship. A new command I give unto you, that you love one another. Some people are uneasy to love, but we have to not look at their flaws, but look at them as somebody who needs the love of God shown to them. And if you can do that, great. And just being kind. Be kind, be kind. Nobody wants to be hurt. So since I've done that, I hope that if you'd like to do that along with me, that would be wonderful. I'm going to have 2 more before the summer is over that I will be studying, so I will go over those 6 verses all summer long. So I will have those in my heart, that I might not sin against God, and that I will be more obedient to him. I'm not someone who has a lot of anything. I have much more than what I had when I grew up. And much more doesn't mean a lot, but I have much more. And I know if my mom was living, she would be here in a heartbeat if I could go get her. And she would want to work around with my flowers, and not that she could, but she would just love to walk around and see them. Not that I have a lot. But you know, it's important, the little things in life. Enjoying your day. Putting those things that you can't change, giving them over to a God that can. You guys are not making me feel rejected, which is a plus for me. I've felt so much rejection years and years and years, and felt that, you know, when you feel so rejected a lot of times, younger, your self-esteem goes down, right? Goes down. And but I try to stand above that as much as possible. But it's hard for the old brain not to remember things, right? So I trust each day with a new practice that I'm doing. I used to get up and have my bowl of cereal, put on the TV, watch YouTube, and eat my cereal. Now I get up and having a harder time not turning that on, but most times I keep it off so that I can eat and read my Bible, do my Bible lesson here that I'm learning about the discipleship's cross, the disciples' cross, rather. And again, if you want to start that, you can find that on Amazon. It's called The Master Life, the disciples' cross. And there's 4 study books with 6 lessons each. So you can just take one and do one every year, you know, every 6 months. Just take your time. Like there would be 6 lessons, so you could do 1 lesson a month and really just go over it and take a month and learn a memory verse instead of taking a week to learn a memory verse. But it's just helping me discipline myself, I guess, to put a priority in place. Now, I don't follow it every day. I don't. I'll be honest with you with that. But I try every day. And it may not be till the end of the day. But I want to, when I'm alone, to spend that time doing that first thing in the day. Then I can get about and, you know, do other things. Just thinking of, I've been, Saturday night, I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep. And my heart started, I thought my heart, I'm a diabetic, so it didn't feel like my blood pressure, my sugars were low. But sometimes when my sugar is low, my heart will go out of whack, just beat real fast. And then when I get up onto my feet, I notice how weak I am. And that hasn't done that for a while. But my heart just started just pounding a little bit, a little tiny bit. So I thought, I'm going to get up and get something, because I hadn't eaten a whole lot on Saturday, really. And I ate, but not a whole lot. And when you're diabetic, you need to, you know, try to eat 5 small little meals or 2 or 3 meals a day. And but I didn't do that. I ate very tiny meals, I think. My husband went out for a Father's Day barbecue, invited by some people from in our community, and for some different fathers. So Zane went to that and enjoyed his time there. And so I was going to go out actually and go out for breakfast myself, but when I look at the price of it, I think, no, not today. But anyway, getting on to what happened in Saturday night when I got up, I had a handful of protein, trying to make sure. I know you should have a carb. According to my doctor, you need to have like even if it's cracker with some peanut butter on it, that's okay. And that's probably, I got to see if I got crackers again. Not I got to buy some, but if that's all you have, that's a good thing, because it's a carb and a protein. But anyway, I took a handful of nuts and went back in and laid down. And probably within an hour and a half, I have muscle spasms a lot, and it started out years ago in my bowel, and now my mom had those muscle spasms in her bowels where you're just almost going to be sick to your stomach. And I've had those over the years quite severely, and they stop. And then I might not have one for another year or two, right? But this time I've had muscle spasms in my esophagus before, and they found out I've also got a hernia, which I need a hernia repair, which has been 4 years waiting on surgery. But it was so severe in the fact that I couldn't sleep. It started at the very top, which it would, because the muscle spasm starts here, and then I don't have reflux or acid, the GERD, whatever they call it, acid reflux or GERD, but it would start here, so I'd know that the burning was starting here and it was going down, and then you can just feel the muscle spasm, and then it might stop around the breastbone, and it stops there for a while, and whatever it does, it spasms and tightens, because that's what your esophagus does. It just clenches like this, right? And anyway, it did it clear down to where my stomach is, but it took about 4 hours for that to subside, if not more. I got up and took a Gaviscon, hoping that would help. I took little sips of water, thinking that would help. I didn't take anything cold. I didn't take anything hot, because you're not supposed to. And it could also be the nerve endings around the esophagus. But I go to the doctor again on Wednesday, and I will mention that to him, but I know they don't say, oh, but I am going to ask for, I know that you can ask for a muscle relaxer or a pill. I don't know, they got some mentioned online, and I will mention them to him to see if that's something I shouldn't take when I get some of those muscle spasms, because they are not pleasant. The first time I had one, it went, and if you'll look online, it does this. I had pains up my back, because the pain was going right through my back Saturday night as well, and went up through my back and went into my shoulders, up my neck, into my jawline, down my arm. So when I couldn't find any way to get rid of the pain, I called an ambulance because I didn't know what it was. That's the first time I'd ever had one in my esophagus. And they thought I was having angina attacks because I had all the symptoms. And this is one thing that they do give you is nitroglycerin for underneath your tongue as well. And they did give me about 5 of those to see if it wasn't angina, but it wasn't. But they give you those anyway just because of what's happening down here. And anyway, that was my Saturday night, so I didn't get up and go to church on Sunday at all. We just stayed here. My husband went out later in the day and went to Tim Hortons and got me an ice cap. And I only usually get those a couple times a year because they're quite expensive for, not a very large cup of ice cappuccino. Anyway, that was my few days. But today it's another warm day. And we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have like a 33, which is Celsius, which is a little bit too hot for me. Today is warm. I'm sweating already, sitting here in the sun. But it is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I checked on my plants. I wish a lot of my plants had come, but they didn't. Don't think my squash and stuff's going to come much. It's coming, but I don't think it's going to produce much. I planted a pumpkin, and that's just dying down. I see my cucumbers are just dying down. I don't know anything about them. But next year I'll make different plans. I will have more potatoes, maybe a whole bed of potatoes instead of a half a bed. And I've got 2 1/4 beds of beans. But next year I might do maybe 3 beds of beans, 1 of potatoes, maybe 1 of zucchini, and maybe zucchini and squash, or zucchini and cucumbers. Try that. And my tomatoes. Now next year I'll buy different tomatoes because they're even taking a longer time to come. So maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe they'll come, and I'm just going to wait and see, and I'm just going to be thankful for what I have growing, and be thankful for things I cannot change, just accept them. And I'm just so pleased and thankful that you are here. And please like, watch. I hope you can watch all the way through, that I'm not too boring. And it's not just the subscribing, but it is watching. Really, it's liking and watching and sharing it. Sharing it to your friends, and sharing it, just sharing it. Just share, if you don't mind. Maybe others will see, and maybe others need to hear some kindness and some love, and knowing we all have problems, and we all have cares, and we all have fears, and we all have desires in our heart, and we all have heartbreak, and we all have tears, and but we're here for each other. That's what we're here for, is to be there for one another, and to be an encouragement to one another. So today is a blessing. I'm going to post on this a picture of my peony, one of them, and the next time I'll show another peony, a different color, as my picture on my page. But Lord bless you and keep you. May He watch over you. And thank you for being a friend. God bless, and have a great day.